Kristen. Well, our big story this morning affects at least 200,000 people. Today, the entire city of Cape Coral is under a boil water order. Fox 4 Morning News anchor Chris Shaw is live from one of the testing sites in Rotary Park. And Chris says people are waking up this morning, getting ready for the day. Some of them maybe have plans to go out for breakfast. And I know you have been tracking some of the restaurants this morning to see how they're handling all of this.
Yeah, they started to open, I guess, about a half hour ago, and so I started calling around to see if they were going to have to do anything differently. And I think the bottom line is the restaurant owners and the chefs are just like the rest of us dealing with this boil water order. It's going to be a little bit of a pain, but it's not really interrupting too many things. I spoke with Annie's restaurant right there off of Cape Coral Parkway. They tell me that they're going to have all their menu items today, but they're not going to have their fountain sodas because that uses water. I also talked to the chef at the House of Omelets who told me that same thing there. All the menu items are going to be there, but they're going to have to boil everything before they cook with the water, and they're going to have to boil the tea and the coffee that they make. And they tell me they're going to have to go out and buy soda so they have at least something to offer in the way of soda to their customers. But other than that, everything on the menu should be okay. If you can, I want to come back out live to where we are right now. This is Rotary Park. Specifically, we are in front of the dog park at Rotary Park. This is where the city says one of two water samples came back in the last week positive for a bacteria. Now, I want to show you this portion of the dog park. This is the small dog section of the park. We can't go in. You have to have a code to get in. You have to register your dog to be able to get in. But we're zooming in right now to a hose there. That green thing hanging from the fence, that's a hose. And the city says it was something like that. A hose bib, a socket where you screw in your hose in your lawn. And so you have a hose to water your yard or wash your car. It was that kind of place where one of these tested positive. Now, if we can go to that video, because I want to show you what you can do and what the city says you really shouldn't do. You shouldn't drink the water, brush your teeth with it, wash your dishes, or cook food until you let it boil for at least a minute. That will then kill any bacteria that may be in the water. If you can't boil it, the city says use bottled water. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on here. Last Wednesday, the city did random water testing in this area. It takes 120 samples every month across the city, and one sample came back positive for what's called total coliform. It's a bacteria that's found in the digestive tracts of animals. It's a red flag, though, so the Department of Health required more testing. The city says a second test from a house that was about 80 to 100 feet away came back positive yesterday for E. coli. That was also an outside hose bib at that house. Now, E. coli is a health risk, so the Lee County Health Department required the city to issue this boil water order. It's over the entire city. The city says it's important to know, though, no other tests have come back positive.
And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that it's probably within 80 to 100 feet of each other and in the vicinity of the dog park. I have no information right now to indicate that there is a problem of any kind with the quality and the safety of the city of Cape Coral's water treatment system.
So that's an important distinction there. At this point, the city says there is no evidence to suggest this is a larger problem than just the two samples that were taken. The city says it has flushed the water in this part of the Cape and increased chlorination. The city has also tested more sites, and it expects to get those results back by noon today. So that is the soonest, noon today, the soonest that boil water notice can be lifted. We are just getting started with our coverage here. In the last few minutes, I've had a chance to speak with some folks who were here at the dog park about how the boil water notice has impacted their day and what it means to them, because they come here all the time, and if there was a sample taken from here, if that concerns them. We'll talk to those folks a little later in this newscast.